$5,000 grant, $10,000 grant, $15,000 grant. Big grants are proposed on the second stimulus package, but why would you wait till then to get the money when you can get it right now? In this video, I'll be explaining how you get money right now, how I'm getting viewers $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 of money right now under the first stimulus package, which is money being sitting at your city and state and is about to expire in just a few weeks. It's important for you to get this money right now because ultimately you will get that $10,000, $15,000, and even $50,000 grants in the coming weeks, but it's going to be weeks from now. And I need you to get money during the holidays and not wait around. In this video, I'll be explaining big developments about the grants, why there's progress from Congress for second stimulus, and also what's happening with hazard pay. Is it back on? Is it back out? And can you get hazard pay on a local level? And is there grant money for hazard pay right now as well? Breaking developments across the board. It's an exciting day. It's Sunday afternoon, and there's news across the board. And I'm so glad you joined me on Purple. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Afternoons LALATE, and this is Purple, in which I detail to you the big grants that are coming across the board and money you can get right now. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe because I'm getting tons of viewers money right now. $250,000 of money has been gotten by viewers approximately for money right now. This is CARES Act 1 money, the first stimulus package money, that dedicated money to cities and states that they want you to have. It's only around for a couple more weeks, and it's money you can get right now. I'm going to go over more details on how you can get that money in this video. Then I'll be focusing on money right after. This is money not yet approved, but money that is very big and bold. $50,000 grants, $10,000 grants, no less than 2 of them, and another $5,000 grant. Then what's going on with that SSDI and SSI? And what's going on with hazard pay? Meantime, can you get hazard pay right now through something called bonus pay? And have you asked your employer about bonus pay? Do you know if it exists? I'm going to give you the details. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you sit here today is that hazard pay is not yet law. Bonus pay is being implemented on a local level, and bonus pay is also being paid between employers and employees. So what's going on? If you work for a major big box retailer, you know who they are. They're paying bonus pay. They don't call it hazard pay. So you need to immediately reach out to your human resources person in your big box retail and say, are you currently paying bonus pay? It's not called hazard pay. And generally they're paying whether you work part-time, full-time, or overtime anytime during this next couple of weeks. This includes people who work on holiday work. All the big box retailers are doing massive hirings over the holidays, and they're also paying bonus pay. Next, grocery stores, yes. Liquor stores, yes, they're paying bonus pay as well, and especially if it's unionized. If it's not unionized, reach out to the union because they're helping pay the bonus pay as well. Is there another place in which bonus pay is being paid? Yes, it is. Cities and counties have grant programs. This is free money. This is stimulus money. This is from the first stimulus package. They're paying bonus pay to first essential workers, fire and rescue, hazard pay, people like that. And so ultimately, 5% of the grants that I cover on this channel, that's money right now, is hazard pay. It's not broad. It's not across every city and every county of every state, but it is out there. So does Congress want you to have hazard pay? And how can you get that hazard pay? Yes, Congress wants you to have hazard pay, but that hazard pay is not law yet. There's no place for you to apply for it yet. And you're not going to get it in the next few days. So ultimately, I'm going to explain to you how you get ready to get it, but I'm going to explain to you right now how you can get bigger money right this minute before you wait around for the $50,000 grant and those 3 other $10,000 grants that are coming in a couple of weeks. All right, let's get to the details right now. What's important to understand is that stimulus is being sent out from Congress to different parties, individuals, or cities based upon different events. When we sit around, when you talk about a second stimulus check, you're talking about a Congress sending you a check directly. But Congress already sent money to your city and state to pay you. and you never went and got it because ultimately you didn't know about it until I told you about it. And here's an example. In Florida, Florida was one of the last states to really roll out the money to its cities and counties. The federal government gave $1.5 trillion to every state, a portion to every state. Every state got it. And then they sent it out to their counties. In the case of Florida, I'm using an example, they were very slow. And so now if you go to Miami-Dade's website, there's a rent grant program there. Palm Beach, Broward, Miami-Dade, all rent grant programs. If you go to other states, it's not necessarily always the case. Some states rolled out the money sooner, and so the money has been used up. But that's on rare occasion. The most common occasion is the Florida situation. And so those rent grants are there right now. So how do you apply for them? You apply for them online, and they're intended to be for generally everyone that qualifies of an income level or below. Ultimately, get your application in, call them up, and ask them if you have any questions, but do not apply hoping to resolve the situation in a couple weeks. Why? Because the money's not going to be there any longer. First, it's first come, first serve. Second, I can see the tidal wave of viewers watching these videos since Wednesday. This channel does approximately 2 million views a day. Can you imagine how many people that are reaching out to get these grants because of this channel? And I'm the only one talking about it. Imagine if someone else starts to talk about it, how much push there is to get this money. So it's first come, first serve. Second, they got to return the money. Even if no one else talks about it a single time and the money sits there, it goes back. It's going back in a few weeks. So get the money right now. In the community page of this channel, I'm consistently updating things by the minute. You find the community page by going to youtube.com/LALATE, LALATE. On the page there says videos, favorites, and community. Click there and I show information as it comes in. Also, every day when I launch a new series of videos, I will repeat the link to the volunteers. But here's an example. For 3 days, I had people ask me about Massachusetts. I can't find anything in Massachusetts, people said. Finally, someone sent me something about Massachusetts for utilities. I posted it. Illinois, people were constantly asking me about Illinois. Finally, someone sent me something for utilities in Illinois. I posted it. Same thing for Missouri. And so you see how things come in very quickly. Ultimately, I can't keep track of 50-something states and hundreds of thousands of cities across the country. The best I can do is if I get the information, I post it right away. I also tell you how to find the information. And I also give you volunteers who will help find the information for you. And what you need to do is push. And you need to stay positive and focused. What's important to understand, and I'm so excited about, is that the followers of this channel have really taken my spirit at heart in doing this. 3 days ago, there was an aura with some viewers that I shouldn't have to do it. It should just be given to me. No. When there's rent assistance, you always have to ask for it. Second, it's not presumed that you just are given it. Third, people sometimes can't find it. Sometimes it just takes an extra few phone calls. Fourth, if you call up one person and they don't give you an answer, call someone else. Ultimately, follow the advice of this channel. I had one viewer, by example, who did not follow my advice and called the governor's office, which I've never said. Called the governor's office and they said, one, we never got any money in our state ever from Congress. That's all wrong. I mean, you got hundreds of billions of dollars. It's ridiculous. Then two, they said, we never heard of this. We don't have this. We've never had it. As the viewer was sending me the message, I went on that state's website. It's right on the governor's actual website, not even in another part of the state's website. So ultimately, there's wrong information out everywhere. I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to also just presume that people can do it for you. What's important to understand is that I am here to help and fight to get you money right now. Not 5 days from now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. But I'm one person. I am literally getting anywhere between 20 to 40 or 50,000 comments a day across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and this channel. And I may not see your comment. I may not be able to respond to your comments. So ultimately, I may need to ensure that you follow the advice and watch every video, because as I get new information, I'm sharing it on cameras with you as well. There you go. Next, let's go to other grants. What's important to understand is that escalated benefits for unemployment is not a grant, and EIDL is not a grant, but EIDL is bringing back a grant. EIDL, hundreds of thousands of viewers never got the original EIDL grant or got a portion of it. And two things are happening with EIDL. Not now. This is money thereafter. EIDL is bringing back the EIDL grant, $10,000, and it's likely to bring back the remainder of the $10,000 grant. That's coming back. Next, CDC grant. This is, again, money thereafter, not money right now. There will be a CDC grant on the Democratic Heroes Plan, and that grant is paid to you by CDC, and it's for essential workers. Third, there is money going to be apportioned for individuals at a $50,000 grant. That is in the HEROES Act as well. Again, this is not money right now, it's money right after. And finally, hazard pay. Is there hazard pay right now? Is there hazard pay coming? Yes, yes, and yes. So let's go over the three types of hazard pay. The problem I always have with hazard pay, even though I don't get this question, I assume that people are confused because I think it's confusing, is that hazard pay literally has several different names to it. There is hazard pay, bonus pay, extra pay, thank you pay. Nice hairstyle, hair pay. There's literally another name for it every 10 seconds you blink. Businesses are paying bonus pay. Cities and states are paying hazard pay in some circumstances for some essential workers. And finally, federal hazard pay is not yet law, but is likely to become a law. Why? Joe Biden wants to have it. Mitch McConnell wants to have it. The Democrats want to have it. Everyone wants to have it. But how do you have to really fight for it? Let me explain why. Hashtag Purple Power Hazard Pay has been a big hashtag on this channel for several weeks. It goes back to almost August, and I'll tell you why. Hazard pay was in the HEROES Act from the Democrats in May. Then it was taken out. Then it was never mentioned by the Temple of Doom for upwards of 6 months of negotiations and chatter and press conferences, and I was concerned if it was gone. Eventually, it was gone. She took it out in the later version of the HEROES Act. And when the problem solvers wanted to meet with her and discuss what things does she want in the problem solvers bill, she did not meet with them. So it did not get into the problem solvers bill. Hazard pay did not get into the problem solvers bill either. Mitch McConnell has never had hazard pay in his bills, but he has talked about paying frontline workers. But frontline workers may not be Uber and Lyft. It may only be fire and rescue. So ultimately, there is a disconnect. And the other disconnect is that the President of the United States, Donald Trump, has talked about paying frontline workers, but not all essential workers. And so this is where the disconnect is. What you need to be doing is being on social media, making very clear, sharing this video, tagging politicians, tagging Mitch McConnell, say hashtag Purple Power hazard pay. You please do hazard pay and have it for the employees to apply. What does this mean? One of the biggest shortcomings of any drafting of a hazard pay bill from the Democrats is the provision where the employer may apply if they wish to. Who wants a bill where the employer wishes to? It doesn't make sense. You worked during the pandemic or have worked during the pandemic or will work during the pandemic, and then the employer says, you know what, I don't feel like applying for you. Sorry, I don't really like you. I never liked your hairstyle, so I'm not applying for you. Guess what? You can't do anything about it under the way the Democrats write it. Or the employer goes bankrupt, or the employer shuts the door, or the employer fires you, or the employer can't be found, or the employer, moves out of state. Tough luck. What do you mean tough luck? It doesn't make sense. So this is where hazard pay needs to be changed. It needs to be that the employees apply for it, not the employer, and that it's very simple and broad. The calculations for hazard pay, $13 an hour. If you work during the pandemic, January, anytime up to 60 days after the pandemic's over, which is about middle of next year. Second, times the number of hours you worked. So if you're an independent contractor and don't keep track of your hours, better start taking track of your hours if you're paid by the gig. Third, you take that number and you look at it. Okay, am I at $10,000 a year? If you're over it, bam, you're done. $10,000, bam, right in your account. If you're not to $10,000, no problem. You get bam, however big you are, $9,000 in your account, and then you get $13 an hour coming thereafter. If you made a lot of money in 2019, you would get $5,000, not $10,000. And hazard pay also has provisions in there to ensure your safety and well-being. Hazard pay is an additional provision. It does not replace stimulus checks. And the CDC grant, which I talked about earlier in the video, is sort of a hazard pay-ish bill. So there was a time in which hazard pay was gone for the Democrats, but we still had the CDC essential workers grant provision in the bill. So that's what's reassuring. Ultimately, what I need you to know is that hazard pay has always been a push. It's been a push, and it's not been an easy push. And that ultimately, I think you will get hazard pay, but I don't know who you is. They may try to restrict it to only fire and rescue, or they may try to reduce the amount of money. But the best thing going for you right now is that unused CARES Act 1 money that's hitting this weekend. Yes, I love the best for laughs. You know, hazard pay costs a couple dollars for the federal government to do. Imagine paying all these people $10,000. It's a lot of money. Imagine even the federal government paying so many hazard pay people $5,000. It's a lot of money. But when you have 2 trillion, more than $2 trillion of unused CARES Act 1 money being found that could be reportioned, repurposed for other things, that alleviates a lot of concern from the Republicans, the Democrats, and me. Because ultimately, you heard what I said right after election night. I said you're going to get hazard pay with Mitch McConnell, but I never see you getting $10,000 of hazard pay. Now that you see all this additional extra money sitting around, there's a potential you'll get more hazard pay, but it may still not be $10,000. It just may be more. The great news is that you can get money right now from this video. You go on this channel and subscribe right away. You go to the community page and look at it right away. You do exactly what I said. Call 211, call your city, call your county, call your housing authority, ask for rental assistance, ask for utility assistance. Also, if you need further assistance and that's not helping you, also go to their websites. Then I have several volunteers. Also, I forgot to mention at the top of this channel, of the video, is that sometimes people jump into the comments of each video, say, I'm here to help, reach out to me. And that's wonderful. If you can help other people, drop a DM on Twitter or Instagram and say, hey, I'm willing to help find grants for people. Here is my Twitter handle, or here is my Instagram handle. Feel free to share it with more people. We're currently at 4 volunteers. There may be more in the wings. I have a lot of messages to go through. Coming up next is Being a Mitch in 15 minutes from now. Don't miss that video. Is Mitch trying to take your money? Is Mitch trying to reuse your money or unused CARES Act 1 money for something else? You need to stay tuned for that. Big developments and big twists. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and save that life for more.